Welcome back. We'll take a look at your tweets, which you've seen online in just a little bit. But before that, the conversation continues. In case you're just joining us, we are having this discussion of what's online and what happens on the ground are completely two different things, whether it's in relationship, marriage, finances, friendship, activism and politics and so forth. And that's where perhaps I would want us to take the conversation just a little bit and shift it. But before we do that, Steph, you know, when we took this commercial break, we were talking about how it's the same social media, or rather has social media. As much as it also has its good and its bad, has social media allowed us, unconsciously or consciously, as a society, as humanity, to sort of change what ethics, moral code, values, etc. look like? Even just at a basic family unit. I'm glad that, Philip, when we began this conversation, you said, listen, hey, it's not just 21 and 35-year-olds to 35 who are involved in that phone addiction. Our own parents are involved in it as well. So has social media changed for us what values, moral, ethics, just as a society? Has social media redefined that for us?
Yes, I actually feel like it has done that in such a big way, because now people are hiding behind the social media accounts, being bullies behind them, being trolls, just because you can't do anything because you don't know who they are. It's changed the whole human perspective. People don't care anymore about what they post. They'll post a picture of a dead body. They'll post obscene things that are not meant to be there, just for the likes. Like, I feel like clout is such a dangerous disease, and it's what people are riding on these days, which is really a bad thing. So
social etiquette, where do we learn that from? There's no class, there's no program, there's no one who's going to tell you online, this is how to behave, this is how not to behave. Social etiquette or social media etiquette. Anita, like you said, you're very active online. How do you know that, okay, anyway, here nimekosea mtu, perhaps I shouldn't have tweeted that, or I should say it like this, I should frame my sentence this way. It's okay if I have an opposite opinion from Steph when it comes to whatever political issue that is currently being debated about.
You see, the problem, we want to blame everything and say social media has made us bullies. We are bullies in real life. If you're a bully on social media, you're actually a bully in real life. You're just hiding now. You can hide. You're a hiding bully. There's nowhere. Nobody's seeing you, so you can bully as much as you want to. It comes back to how you... I don't want to say raise because I don't want to put parents into this, but it comes up to your upbringing. Are you a good person or are you a bad person? That cannot change. So what you put on social media is who you are, indirectly or directly. And what Philip said that I agree with, we have such a depressed nation that you want to make someone feel bad every day to feel good about yourself. There's someone who trolled me once and I met them in town. And they were like, Nimeni juicy Twitter. I was like, oh, should I get you an award? Good job. I mean, you stopping me in the middle of town to tell me you insulted me on Twitter. And that made you feel so nice, you know. That's a person who has so many issues. I don't know you. So whatever you say, it may not have impacted my life at all. I'm used to being trolled. It didn't bother me at all. But the problem is, all these moral issues are not from social media. Social media just enables them. And the one thing we have to accept today, social media is here to stay. Our kids are already using it. We are using it. We have these kids who are wamefunga shule. Say the things they are posting, you're like, can the parents control this? You get? Because a kid who's 13 updating weird things in weird clothes. And this is the worst thing about us as a generation. Someone is going to double tap. You're going to be like, Kapana, put for us decent pictures. Try taking a picture in a decent clothes and posting it. Tell me how many likes you're going to get. And the problem is one, unless you're doing it for the likes most of the times, why are you posting it then? And don't tell us that you're posting it because you feel good. That's a lot of lying to yourself. Why are you posting it? Because you want to show people you're looking good.
Instagram has removed, it has changed its features. Now you can't see someone's
It's not yet applied yet. That's the best thing to ever happen.
Yeah, if social medias, the Facebooks, the Instagram, in the Twitters, if they did that, do you think that would help?
Yes, because you stop chasing clout. Have you seen what people do for likes? Like people will go to Twitter and insult someone. Someone who maybe posted something nice, or they were being asked a genuine question about a disease, about a disorder. Someone tried to put a hashtag about mental health. Try making that work. Two comments down the line, someone is going to say something so obscene or post a weird picture. Then we lose what we were talking about because they just need the likes and the retweets. Trust me when I say stop lying to yourself that I'm posting for the gram because I feel good about yourself. If you feel good about yourself, you don't need to tell anybody.
Does this boil down to parental guidance and in your view? Because then the other issue that Philip was bringing up is even the parents themselves are online. Yeah. So they're also going with the flow. So there's a difference between this generation because most of what we think is actually put online and people can see it. Is it then that even the previous generations were just like us? The only difference is
they saw it.
There was no digital footprint because we learned from them. People don't listen to you, people do what you do. So is this an issue of parental guidance purely, period?
It is, because at the end of the day, sorry, Philip, I interrupted you. It's a problem that comes back to, we have shown our kids that to be a fit woman, you have to have this figure. You get, us even as parents, you as a mother, you're dying to wear 10 corsets, kill yourself in heels, take a picture. My son took this picture. Why are you posing like that for your son though? Why are you posing weird? Oh, my son is taking my picture. Yo, what is happening to us as parents? You get, we are raising our kids to think as boys. Just someone was saying, I told my son, if you don't have a beard, you're not a man. I was like, what if he never gets a beard? What if he never gets a beard?
Don't even think about it.
Bad example.
Yeah, bad example. Very bad example.
So you see, Trevor, we are indirectly teaching our kids this by what even us as parents post. You see, imagine if you as a parent, you don't laugh. You see, if you as a
don't be fair now.
One thing, Trevor.
Bad example. Anita, are you done though? Before
no, I'm saying
we
need to remember this every single day. I always tell people, what you're posting today, your kids are gonna see. Are you gonna be able to explain, or do you even need to explain?
Yeah.
You get. That's why I tell people, I'd rather post memes all day on social media than post something I have to explain to my son a few years. I can't, and I don't want to do that. But as his parents, because of what pisses me off the most about our generation as women, is we are training our young girls. Unless you have a nice figure, unless you can pose with your breaking your back and in your heels and your sleazy tops, you're not a woman. And they're making people who want to dress up in their t-shirts. That's why I always dress up like this, because that's what I'm comfortable in. Stop teaching your kids they have to look a certain way. If you're not having a Cardi B body or a Nicki Minaj body, you're not. No, it's okay to be you. You
or
know.
A beard.
I knew you were going there.
I couldn't. It was just there.
Let's talk to the beard.
I think on matters etiquette on digital, common sense applies.
Yeah.
I think the rules which apply offline actually apply on digital. And even at Citizen here, there's a code of conduct. Even at schools, even where we study, rules actually apply. The same rules which apply offline should apply online. So people think that there's this false sense of anonymity, which gives people on social media where you think no one can see what I'm posting. Well, newsflash, there's no privacy. Even if you had in a parody account, you can be found. And this generation is leaving so much negative footprint that we have a generation in Kenya which is quite sharp. Kenya, we are a sharp generation, very innovative, tech savvy, but we're cyber foolish.
Cyber foolish.
We're cyber foolish. We put so much information online. By the time we're looking for jobs, we won't get jobs.
Okay, so allow me to now divert the conversation. Let's move away from bullying, friendship, romantic relationships, and so forth, and just discuss social activism. And it's what I was actually asking you, Steph. You know, you'd post a gorgeous picture of your outfit today, you'll probably get 1,000 likes. If you ask the same group of people to come out tomorrow and vote, or have they read the BBI, or what are their thoughts on a political issue, or social issue, be it activism, are you pro-life, pro-choice, are you just those social conversations? What happens online is different. Leah, do you agree?
That's true. That's
in terms of social activism, you know, in terms of just being as a young person who is politically involved in the matters of their country.
That's very true. I feel like in this generation, everybody just wants to be famous, in quotes. So, like, the quickest way to be famous is to tweet the most, you know, controversial stuff. You won't tweet about, because Boniface, like Boniface Mwangi, for example, is on the streets. Sometimes he calls people to go and march with him. Corruption issues. Show up. Yeah, and very few people show up. And even the ones that show up, most of them are normally the older generation, as opposed to the guys he actually is targeting, which is the young people who will then come online and complain that things are not changing, this country is a joke, and you had the chance to go and protest about it, but you chose not to. So we give focus to the most irrelevant things, and then we really ignore the things that matter.
But there are also those who believe that putting it online there also stars some kind of action, because we have seen some action online that has materialized to real action without people having to go to the streets. So could it just be another alternative, an alternative way to air your voice without really going to the streets?
I think as a country, we do know the power we have on digital space. We can trend funny things like twa the whole week, but we can't discuss issues matters health. We can't discuss issues about our political
Why is that
future.
so?
I think as a generation we failed. We set up this conversation, leaving it for older people. Then we're the ones who actually have the power to actually make informed decisions. If today we are 1 million Kenyans, let's say on Twitter we are probably maybe 1 million tweets every day, pushing a certain agenda, there'll be change.
But Philip, let me play the devil's advocate and say, if you are having the same conversation with your boys, if it's the same thing, only the conversation is online, right? If you're having the same conversation with your boys physical and you told them, hey, let's go and give and do a blood drive, or hey, have you had the discussion of BBI with your family, with your friends? What do they think? Hey, what are your thoughts on pro-life or pro-choice? What is your thoughts on LGBT? What are your thoughts on social issues? If you were to have that conversation physically with your boys, will it reenact, or will it ignite the same discussion, the same response as if you are having it online, where you know you can hide behind a screen?
Yeah, it depends with the audience target. Like the campaigns we do as digital humanitarian, we actually get traction. And these are the type of content we push. We push content which has emotional appeal, which has emotional hook, where we use evidence-based stories, where we get someone who has actually gone through something to actually speak. But you'll find that this generation, we are numb to some of this activism. We are like, it can't happen to me. Like I saw someone trolling a chick who is, she's called Diana Mora. She's HIV positive and she's quite vocal about the activity. But guys are trolling her like, yo, you are just doing this for gram. I'm like, honestly, as a generation, it's time we just wake up to reality and put digital, that trolling and cloud chasing aside.
Steph, when you're with your friends in social gatherings, are you able to have the same discussions that you have online with them, and are they able to uphold the same idea that they would tweet as when you're now having the same conversation face-to-face with them? Or when it comes to face-to-face, now it's a different choice because, it's not online?
Personally, I feel like with my friends, kwa ground between different. Like what if we have a discussion about, let's say, LGBT, the same views that we have right here is the same views we'll have online. But I feel like for other people, since online people are watching, you'd want to be on the positive side, or you want to troll just to get your retweets, to get your likes. So I feel like it really comes down to you as a person. Who are you? How did you grow up? Who raised you? It's like how you're saying before, we used to have what? Photo albums, yeah? So I feel like Instagram is like that, but now, as a person, the album.
But you see, you're done with the photo album doesn't allow you to push for social activism.
And also Instagram, the photo album was for family. You would not show people in the streets or your photo album. It's people who actually came to your home. And you're talking to them and you're showing them a few of your moments. Those are people considered your friends. Online, these are just platonic friends.
But in the same way, these people come to your page online, yes? Same case with the album. Once it's done, once you close it, what happens?
But the photo album doesn't allow you to do your social activism, which Instagram allows you to.
Yes,
I mean, you can be there with your photo album, so to vote BBI, you know?
So that's what I'm saying, like, it comes back to you as a person, like, without that, without all the likes, without you being seen in that album of yours, what else are you doing? Apart from that, like, could you stand and say, if I didn't have this, I would actually be pushing for this social activism.
So do you think young people hide online in terms of what they truly think about a certain issue versus now when you have the same conversation with them face to face?
Yes, they really do.
Anita, you are shaking. I mean, Anita, you ask very controversial questions online.
I always tell people, I ask these things online, on Twitter specifically, because I know people come to my DM all the time. You see me, I'm a free soul, so people can think like, it's a good thing people open up to me about everything, Zinzi, everything. And because of my show at night, people tell me a lot of things. So when I tell people lie online, because when I ask Philip, okay, at least I know Philip won't lie. When I'm just saying someone else I don't know, I'll be like, hi Zinzi, what do you think of LGBT? You will first think, who am I in society? How do I want people to look at me when I answer this question? You will not answer the question honestly, because you've already thought about it. So you want to answer without offending anyone, you get. But that's not what I want most. Just answer. But no, you don't want that. So when I ask you, what do you think about mental health? I love talking about mental health. I love talking about mental health. I'll never get tired talking about mental health. So I always ask people, have you ever been suicidal? And people are going to be like, oh, people who go through that. I'm like, you didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
You missed. And then people are going to slide to the DM. Hey, Anita, I was even suicidal yesterday. You see, that person didn't answer because they don't want. There's a lady who once told me, I won't say her name, on Twitter, and she was like, Anita, the biggest fear we have is how people look at us after I say that thing. So I don't want my 1,000 or 2,000 or 30,000 followers on Twitter to think I'm weak. I don't want my 30,000 followers on Twitter to think I'm less of a man because I said something. I don't want that to happen. There's a man who inboxed me, was like, I was cheated on by my wife with my best friend for 20 years of marriage. He's an older guy. I asked him, why won't you say that? He was like, you want people to think I'm not a man? And I was like, does that, but you coming to my DM, does that make you any less of a man? And he was like, I siwezi sema, hata siwezi muacha, wacha tukae na yeye watu wafikiriage I'm a man, you get. So people will never be honest online. Let's start there. And that's the reason we don't have anybody going on the streets. This activism on online is a lot of fakeness. People just, I wish unazangalia hizo threads saa zingine. Kama hii juzi about the president, I was reading it. It was not about the president. People were just throwing memes, saying that there was no, the sensible tweets were maybe less than 20, you get. Everything else is just a lot of BS of people cloud chasing, videos of the president from years ago, you get. Nobody is just saying something sensible. Like, we have this problem, let's fix it. If you tell them that, they'd be like, oh, unajua hatuwezi fix. You're like, then why are you ranting about it on Twitter? I always say, one thing I love about Philip, let me finish with this. I love about Philip, when he starts a hashtag, I always follow it up. It will end to something physical. If they feel like it's going to happen, if they are looking for blood, it's going to get itapatikana. If they are looking for someone who's lost, atapatikana. Wanna get. If they are looking for help for someone specific, when you follow it up, there's an end product of it. Hizo zingine zote. I always tell people you can trend every day with a good hashtag, but at the end of the day, nothing is going to be done.
Okay.
I was about to give an example to what she just said, that people just, they talk, but they don't walk the walk. Like guys were complaining, there's a lot of corruption, this government is not doing well. There's just a lot of talk online. But then when you come to the ground, like for instance, the last elections, the Kibra ones, there was just a lot of tribalism. And I was wondering, so are you gonna walk? And then when it comes to the actual situation that you're talking about, you have a different opinion. It's just, people just hypocrisy.
So,
there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, Philip, even as you're about to jump in and give your point, I just want to add to what Anita has said in terms of a question coming up. You know, Anita, you just said that people would rather, you know, DM you privately to let you know about something and their thoughts because you want to protect your self-image. And that's why I asked the questions of how we allow social media to re-emphasize or redefine for us our morals, our value codes, as family, as a basic unit of society and as a society at large. The reason why I asked that is because, you see, you could ask a question about an LGBT question. I might say I agree and I support the LGBT community online, because online everyone, that's the conversation. But I am scared to say I don't support it because it's the same online people that will bash me for having an opinion of my own. So on social media, look at Anita. So on social media, have we allowed social media to redefine our values and our ethics as society? Because I'll be scared tomorrow to speak up my voice about something that is politically incorrect for in this generation. Unfortunately,
yes. We've allowed social media to actually dictate the way we behave, the way our personas, which is quite sad. And unfortunately, we don't have mentors. As in, like this generation, we're not mentoring the millennials. The millennials have no one to look up to. So we are all living a lie online, telling guys I'm doing well, that I'm severely, going through trauma and depression. When I went public about my PTSD battles, when I went to Madare I was being laughed at. I think I got over 600 DMs, people telling me, why are you going to Madare? That place is filthy. But you see, the thing is, how many people know that Madare going there for therapy is 50 shillings?
50 bob.
50 bob. How many know that opening a file is to 50? So many guys go through depression, but they have no money. So it's time we have this conversation. It's time we have people standing up and putting their foot down, saying this is wrong. I think when we get more voices where we stand up and say, hey guys, we need blood, and then people show up. As a country right now, we don't have blood, but no one shows up. We all complain about the system. We have numbers. If we all push an agenda every day, it will make changes. Our leaders are taking advantage of us because we have these chanted voices. All of us are speaking about tribal issues. We don't channel our issues on a more targeted front.
Okay. Yep. We have to take a quick break here, but there's also something you said which I'd like you to expound on a bit. You said Kenyans are sharp, but they're cyber foolish, and you said some of them might not even get jobs. So what did you mean by that?
As a generation, by Kenya, we are like a tech hub. We are the innovation of we are the Silicon Savannah. Yeah. Kenyans, we have very sharp brains, but also on digital, we are cyber foolish. People post silly stuff. They are drinking habits. They're abusing the authority. You abuse the president. Your future bosses. By the time you're looking for jobs, nowadays jobs.
Your future boss.
Yes, and even scholarships. Yeah. Nowadays, universities actually vet your digital footprint. Organizations vet your digital footprint. You not get employed. So what kind of footprint are you leaving behind?
So you have these master's qualifications in fantastic.
I've gone for interviews. I've seen people losing their jobs because of the digital footprint. I applied for a job at one of the global organizations, and I was number 4. Number 1 who got the job was a Kenyan. And unfortunately, he couldn't get a job because of he did a post where saying that these Luos cannot lead us. They should be circumcised. Let's kill these Luos. That was it.
That was it. He was the best candidate, but just because of that one tweet.
That one tweet.
People don't know that.
I think it's time we take that break. But before we take a break, let's take a look at your feedback. A lot of your tweets and SMSs have been coming through. Let's do that right now.
All right. When we say Samo Indi says, what pragmatic solutions do we have then? In fact, that's where we are going to, Sam, when we come back from the break. Internet never came in vain. It has its pros and cons. Giving and getting information, blemishes and imperfections are not absent in humanity. We must learn how to live with criticism, applause. You can't control the public consumption unless there is social etiquette.
All right, this is still on Twitter. Use the hashtag Daybreak. Engineer Lazaro, good morning to you. You're saying you must choose, I think that's what you wanted to say, you must choose what you share with the people online. Be careful not to expose your privacy too much online.
All right, and Junior Mato, you say people post on social media to brag, seek approval, or seek sympathy. Before posting, ask yourself whether you can handle whatever feedback that comes through. The streets are never safe for anyone. It has also helped so many people at the same time.
True. Let's take a look at Brian, you're saying if you start sharing much about your life, a part of you gets addicted to that life. You'll always feel the need to post anything you do. You feel some kind of power and some elevation on status when people like and comment. You want to paint a picture that doesn't exist. You continue to say that we look for love on social media and not from people around us. Our immediate family members find out about us on social media. That's how much our social life has been affected by social media. Then there is competition. We are all competing for the perfect life and living a lie.
Yeah, the humble brag. You say, blessed to be here. All right, Kim, Riti, we say we can only go back to the original morality by experiencing a cultural rebirth. We got to find the route map to Africa. Neither religion nor internet will take us back there. This delusion with civilization is absolute balderism. Baldash, no love, no mercy, fakeness everywhere.
Okay. Chege, good morning. You say, I think you're approaching the conversation the cliche way, seeking to point out the don'ts and disadvantages of social media. I have a belief social media is raw material and we're living in the generation seeking to make good out of it. You continue to say that it is fundamental. Human beings have diversity in themselves, spiritually, sporty, family, business, emotional. The true problem is social media does not present compartment accounts. Not that we share wrong information, it's that we mix it all. Okay.
All right, that's an interesting perspective. So there's good information, bad information, all mixed up. That's what you're talking about. Let's see, Sir Nixon from Kindaruma says, social media is a useful piece of technology. However, it will destroy this planet mentally if we won't come forward as responsible individuals to advocate for responsible use of it.
Okay. Mutembi all the way from Meru, you say social media is part of life nowadays. You cannot do without it if you have to be relevant. Social media is a source of information, a way to get to know, a source of information to get to know, a way to get together, a way to connect with people, a new way to buy and sell, a means to reach out to other people fast and easy. All we need to do is to be under control and use social media wisely. Do not misuse social media. Don't give the public what should be private. All
right. Mwas from Roy says, I think it's childish telling everyone what you're doing. Remember, children boast about what they ate last night.
Wow.
All right. And on that note, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, now we find out how do we restore factory settings. Simple question. How do we make this a conversation that is worthwhile and so that the future generation can also learn from it? Because change has to start from somewhere. Keep your views coming 22422. That's SMS line. Trevor Mbidjet, Citizen TV Kenya. At Zinzi_K. She was away on leave. She just came back. So I've even forgotten her Twitter handle. Zinzi_K at Citizen TV Kenya. We'll see you in just a bit.